Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Left Field Property News. My name is Holly Reynolds. Today I'm joined by Nik Young, the new CEO of Anywhere Travel. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Holly. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Great to have you here. So, for those who don't know them, Anywhere Travel is one of the largest independent travel management companies in Australia, 44 years in business, working across corporate and luxury leisure travel. And the topic we're getting into today is one that I think is going to land for a lot of us listening because it's about something most of us have been doing wrong for the last decade. So, Nick, welcome. Very excited to jump into this with you. Now, first of all, tell us, you're now in the CEO role at Anywhere Travel. What's the pathway to that position for you?
So, I entered the world of travel in 1995 with a quite a prestigious UK travel firm, which allowed me the opportunity to come to Australia in 2006. Sadly, they decided to pull their operations out of Australia at the end of the GFC. And having known Barbara for many, many years in the industry, we came together and I brought a number of our top sales consultants from Trail Finders to Anywhere Travel. And here we sit in 2026, and they're all still here.
There we go. And you mentioned Barbara Whitten, of course.
Yeah, our
Barbara's
founder.
the founder of the business, still involved in the business, but taking a step back as the business evolves a little bit more. What's the elevator version of Anywhere Travel? Tell us, tell our listeners where you guys sit in the market.
So we've adapted and evolved over the years, and as you mentioned, Barbara in the founder role, we kicked off this in August last year, and actively reshaping the new Anywhere Travel. But we call ourselves a medium TMC travel management company. We sit pretty much in the middle of all our peers. So obviously you have the bigger entities above us, and we're the largest independent. We, as I say, 44 years. So we have a very, very strong corporate travel business, which has evolved over the years from academic background. That's where the business started in UNSW. As I say, we've evolved. We have a 70% corporate travel market, and 30% of the business is through we call Alchemy, our luxury brand for our leisure business.
Brilliant. And one of the reasons I was so keen to get you on the show was because you do service a very specific part of the market, and with such a wealth of years and experience and having gone through all the highs and lows that can be thrown at a travel business, you're still standing. You are targeting, obviously, a very premium level. What's your read on the state of the premium travel market and the way people are traveling right now?
Well, I'd say that right now, confused, a little bit concerned, but they have us behind them to support them. So we're advising clients as the Middle Eastern situation has arisen. The strength and demand of the high-end luxury travel market in Australia has not disappeared. We've obviously had cancellations. We've had a few people change their destinations to more immediate Asian focus. But the strength for the European summer is through the roof. How they're getting there is expensive, but that's another story you're about to ask me, I think.
Yeah, I think we will come to that, but I think definitely let's call it out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a restless time globally on a number of fronts. So practically that must have radically impacted in different ways the way your business operates.
It has. We were very quick to react, and I think we're reacting in a slightly different way to some of our competitors. It was an interesting weekend because it was Mardi Gras celebration, and I was out with a number of our team members. And we woke to the news that morning with our 24/7 team getting in touch with us to say this is escalating. We do obviously have a crisis management WhatsApp group, so we all jumped on. Our focus straight away, rather than communicating with our top clients, was to react and rebook them, run all the reports, find out by priority who was departing. And we took control. We didn't necessarily, we know our clients, we have the relationships with them. So before they were calling us, we'd already rebooked them onto Singapore Airlines. We'd already rebooked them onto Cathay Pacific, the airlines which were bypassing the Middle East. And we were able to get in, I would say, with probably 90% of rebookings before the airlines reacted with fare increases, fuel increases, and all those costs. So yeah, with the immediate departures, we had them all rebooked, all resettled on alternate routes before they even knew it. So they woke up, made their first, oh my God, I'm going via Dubai, what's happening? Well, you're not anymore, you're going via Singapore, you're all secured. The airlines reacted I have to say, much quicker than they used to. And I think the technology we're all using for disruption and crisis coming out of COVID is a lot more user friendly between us, the airlines, and the customer. It used to be the airlines battling with us battling with the airlines, and informing our clients. It is far better than it used to be. So that was a great thing to see. Their new travel plans quicker than they actually queried them, if that makes sense.
Wow. So it sounds like it was a very, you were really ready for this. You had the systems in place, and I
Yes.
guess this comes to the central thesis of our conversation,
Mm.
is that the smartest travelers are the ones that do use advisors. And I imagine over the years, we've had the onslaught of online. We can now DIY it over a glass of red wine late on a Saturday night, book that flight to Italy, and then wake up on Sunday and go, did I actually book it in the right name? That has happened to me. My husband's put the wrong name in our booking, and that has caused a whole flurry of issues. So obviously you cater to a certain kind of traveller. I imagine there have been some that have drifted away over the years, but the smart ones are coming back, and for very good reason. So what's actually changed then? Talk us through, with the access now to booking travel and designing your own adventures so prevalent. Why are people coming back or staying with people like Anywhere Travel?
It goes to, the core aspect I put down to relationship. It's our relationship with our travel advisors, with our clients, and with our suppliers. We interact with our suppliers daily. We have updates, social events, training, etc., and we're able to pull on them when things go wrong, when mistakes are made. You made your name, and Darren booked your name in the incorrectly. Well, we had some people going to the US for this week, I think next week, for the football, and they did exactly that, and they booked the wrong hotel. They booked it in the wrong dates, and we were able to call the hotel and say, "Look, they booked the wrong dates. Can you help us?" etc. They waived all the fees because there's 100% number of fund, and we're able to book the right dates for them. It's the same with the airlines. We have access to deals and VIPing our clients, which you just don't get when you're booking yourself. You can't VIP yourself. You leave that to us. We do that. And it's all down to the relationships. We love to work out and what our clients need, what they want to experience, how they want to travel. And that has changed since COVID. And we've adapted to that with them, with family adventures, family experiences, and getting away from mass tourism.
Yeah, great. And I want to explore that. I think we'd love to hear more about that specifically. Before we go into how people are now traveling and how you're crafting these experiences for them, really interested to understand the economic argument for for using a travel advisor. When does it make sense to stop, whether for leisure or corporately, when does it make sense to stop booking your own travel?
Immediately.
And not
Look,
a moment before.
no, yes. So from a corporate perspective, we work with all the corporate travel programs. We provide all the analytics and the reporting. We've just launched a new piece of technology called Business Advantage, AT Advantage, which is a one-stop reporting tool. Has every booking in there, your savings, your sustainability reporting, access to visas, access to tickets on hold, traveler tracking, traveler communication, duty of care in one tool. So we're just launching that as we speak. It's about sort of half of our clients at the moment. The same thing with leisure. We've launched our own Anywhere Travel app, which allows us to, and the clients to have their itinerary and everything in one place, allows us to communicate with them, um, upload documents and work with them while they're on trip as well as before and after they go. So it's down to the relationships and
Yeah.
they're coming back because you can't get that when you book online and make your own arrangements.
Yeah.
You try calling Qantas when you've made that mistake. It's a 2 hour phone call. With us, we have avenues which expedite all these issues with suppliers.
And look, the fact is life happens and things will go wrong, even with the best planning. I personally have been a client of Anywhere Travel for quite a number of years now, and a particularly memorable moment was on a milestone birthday, shall we call it, adventure to Italy, and we had planned out a self-drive second half to the whole holiday, and we went to collect the vehicle, and we realized we'd come fresh out of COVID and we were so used to using the QR code to access the license. We didn't for a moment think, oh my God, we should have had our physical hard copy license with us. So of course we weren't equipped with that. That was an oversight on our part. But you know what? Barbara was at the end of the phone when I called, 7:30 at night, saying, Barbara, what can I do? What can you do? And she pulled as many strings as she could. At the end of the day, you can't fix stupid sometimes. So we ended up on a train, and it was a totally different experience, and we had a great time. But the point is that you guys were there, and that's a very different experience to feeling isolated, alone, standing there, even if it's just to vent and go, it's not great. And it wasn't you that made the mistake, it was me, but it was someone there in the moment with me, which I actually found incredibly valuable.
But no, we some problems we can fix and some issues we do fix. I can give multiple examples on that. And
Well, give
sadly,
me one.
within the
Tell us a war story. I want to hear a war
okay,
story.
so one of our greatest reps looks after and represents an amazing hotel chain in globally, leading hotels the world. So he represents that. He was on a holiday to Taiwan. Redemption tickets, which are the points tickets, and his wife had purchased a commercial ticket to go with him. Get to the airport, she only had 6 months, didn't have 6 months left in her passport. So generally, when you arrive in a country, you have to have validity of 6 months to enter, which was the rule for Taiwan. Didn't have it, was refused boarding. So hubby and kids went ahead, and we were able to rebook her, even on a commercial ticket by contacting the airline out of hours because it was an evening departure. We reorganized her trip for the next day, so got her on the flight 24 hours later, and we were able to get her an appointment with the passport office in Brisbane because the Sydney one couldn't do it. So she flew to Brisbane, got her passport, flew back down to Sydney, and was able to take the flight to join her husband 24 hours later. That you just wouldn't be able to get outside of a travel agent like Anywhere Travel. We have a 24/7 team, 7 days a week, and we're at the. I think the benefit of Anywhere Travel is we are a unique boutique agency. The key people, whether it's me, Barbara, my other leadership team, Vanessa and Steve, we're at the end of a line, at the end of a call for our clients, and we're there for them, and we'll do whatever we can to support them.
Yeah, I think you've summed that up beautifully. Um, so let's talk about how the smartest travelers are doing it now. So what I mean by that is how has travel or the way people are traveling changed? For example, are we are we looking at longer trips, different kinds of trips? Where are you seeing sort of behaviors around travel change?
So, following COVID from a corporate travel perspective, you're right. They're doing less trips, longer trips, and they're also finding that opportunity to have that work-life balance. So that yeah, they're going away for longer, and they'll make sure they have 4 or 5 days at the end of it to celebrate their success of their business trip with family or friends locally. That is a huge change, and we've seen that across the board. And pretty similar with leisure, or the alchemy side of the business. They are going away for longer. There's a lot of family trips, multi-generational, which I didn't think would last as long as it has following the coming out of COVID, but it has. They're going away for, and they're leaving us rather than doing a lot of the things themselves when they get there, they're leaving us with literally everything pre-booked. Um, but that is goes back to the experience. What they're looking for now is to get away from the mass tourism. We all have heard what's happened in Rome and Barcelona with the anti-tourism issues. So they're still going, but what they're doing is now private, and they're organizing their private tours of galleries and or small groups, which we get from our specialist local market. We call them DMCs. They're the special local operators, which you don't see on the web. You see the Expedias, and these just aren't there because they only work with the trade. So we're able to contact local specialists, organize those local trips to key tourist areas and get them away from the mass tourism, but at the same time use their experience and what's new in the market. Where do you suggest going? The Sistine Chapel is full in July and August. You can't get in there; it's all
Yeah.
pre-booked. But there's 100 other opportunities off the track. We've just had one in Milan from our Hyatt partner. They have exclusive tour as part of you book 3 nights at the Hyatt in Milan, and through Anywhere Travel, through our VIPing of the client, they get experiences. They get a private guided tour of an amazing cathedral and old monastery, which is 10 minutes down the road from the hotel. And that is only available to Hyatt guests and Anywhere Travel guests. So we're looking for those little extras which differentiate VIP our clients. And yeah, again, it goes down to the relationship.
Yeah. And you raise a really good point. My Instagram is littered with small group travel adventures and things. Yesterday I saw something about a Scottish week away reading for 12 women. you know I'm like,
Mm.
oh, yes, it kind of appeals, but it's it's interesting because they're getting so niche, so tailored. We've got wonderful people like the magnificent Lindy Milan, who does food tours, and so she will go all over the world, whether it's Morocco or Greece or Italy, and so obviously we've got these tours and travel opportunities really tailored to what people want to experience. Then we've got the adventure holidays, or people that, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, the very active, interests. So I wonder if there might be people out there thinking Anywhere Travel, corporate, leisure, can they really help me find those little gems? You've alluded to a few there, but if that's something they really want to do, or they've got this real bucket list desire, is that a conversation that you can help them with?
Totally. So that as I say, the relationships. We were people. I mean, cruising. We didn't think cruising would be booming post COVID with all the
No.
stories we saw in the press there, but that has changed significantly. So you're seeing a lot of very bespoke luxury, almost super yacht experiences with Belmond and Ritz Carlton and Four Seasons. They're changing that market, and as our clients change what they want, we're able to recommend and push them into that kind of into that market. Those three I've mentioned, they are treating themselves as floating hotels. So the
Mm,
Four Seasons yachts, when you pay for your cabin or your
mm,
suite, and you get breakfast included.
mm,
When you turn up in Venice or Rome, where these small yachts can arrive in, you don't eat on the boat, the vessel. You go out and you eat in the cities and the towns, and they organize that for you. The restaurants on the ship are open, but the whole point is it's treated as a hotel on water. So
yeah.
you go out and you explore your next arrival port. And I think getting away, we're looking at Montenegro, we're getting a lot of inquiries about Bhutan and all these areas where people, where travel is still luxurious and available and not hardcore, but it's areas people have not looked at traveling. Areas of India, Sri Lanka is going through the roof because it's very tailored and it's an amazing place to experience. And then we have the adventure. You've got the Galapagos, you've got Antarctica, again on smaller vessels, which are sort of less than 100 cabins. So you get into, I'm doing one in the new year with Viking cruises, no children, but on board, and you get right into where the bigger vessels can't go. So it's about tailoring to the client's need and asking them what they want to experience, and then pushing it all into one itinerary for them. And that's the advice they get from us and the
Mm,
knowledge. My team do go on what we call familiars. So 9 times out of 10, one of the team members has experienced that product, worked with that supplier, been to that destination. I've sent Steve, he went on Aurora cruises to Antarctica. Alison went to Sangita in Rwanda to see the gorillas. So they bring back their knowledge and their experience in that to pass on to their clients. And that is the best marketing any supplier and any travel agency gets. The enthusiasm of our consultants to pass on.
yeah. That education and experience and
Exactly.
just the knowing is incredible. Nik, what's something that your most sophisticated travelers are doing that that maybe our audience may not be aware of? Like what's something that stands out to you that might be sort of even just peeking through the curtains to go, wow, people are doing it that way.
I think it's that family multi-generational adventures, which I didn't think, as I mentioned, would be still here this far out of the COVID. But they're traveling to Italy in peak season, and we're able to. I mentioned earlier with our local partners, we have a family who are they have booked a tour of the Sistine Chapel, just that family, and it's not outrageous. It's not. We're not tens of thousands of dollars. It is an affordable experience, and you get that privacy. Out of that, we and the relationship we managed to get tickets to the Bortelli, Andrea Bortelli, the opera singer.
All
He's
right.
number of events in Italy this summer, and we managed to get tickets through that operator. As you say, it's knowing, sneaking through the curtains to what we can and cannot offer. And our clients can just ask us, and we'll research and try, and we have the contacts at the hotels and these suppliers to get them the experiences they want, which they just can't research online.
Yeah. So I imagine in one sense, you could have a client come to you and go, I want to do this and I want to see this, or they might have some really specific requests, or they might just have a vibe that they want to create. And maybe they need you to help stitch it together and do the
Correct. Yeah.
logistics, right? And then you might have others that will go, I don't really know what I want, but tell me what I can have. So then you become that visionary and that guide, really, don't you? So you're really operating on two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, no, example, a friend of mine, they wanted to go with their family. We're going to Antarctica. We're going to Antarctica. They landed up booking the family adventure to the Galapagos Islands with National Geographic and Lindblad cruises because their teenage son is really into photography. And they do their cruising for their small ships. They've got 40 cabins. They're in the Galapagos, and they have a National Geographic photographer on board.
Incredible.
So
Mm.
yeah, that was just an experience. The sun was like, I know. we're going to Galapagos. We're not going to. But that came out of a conversation. We were halfway through selling them the Antarctica. It was the wrong season. It wasn't the best time to go. So out of that, we looked at alternates, and then photography came up in the conversation, and now they're booked to go to Galapagos. So it's the knowledge the team have, and AI always comes up in this conversation, and
Yeah.
that's one of where we're going to allude. So, look, as a company, we've embraced AI where it's relevant, but we use it to basically enhance our service, and we don't use it to replace anything. Matthew Upchurch, who's the head of Virtuoso, exclusive consortia buying group we belong to in the luxury. He basically sums up AI as it can enhance the experience. It cannot replace our consultants. You do it to automate the banal, but you use your travel consultants to create the fantastic.
And look, you lead to a really good point. I mean, our audience is primarily in the property industry, and so they're traveling, they're needing to travel for work, but so many of them, this industry is also about visionaries. It's about seeing how things can be and helping to create new places and spaces, or fund them or design them or build them or make them happen. But at the core of property, exactly like at the core of travel, sits the human experience. And exactly. So I think that's what I find so interesting in terms of, if there's something, I guess, that might be relevant to, those people watching or listening who are also getting our newsletter and are interested in keeping up with what's happening in property. I wonder then around the role that you think travel can actually play for them as well. It's not just about connecting them for business, but maybe it's a mind expanding opportunity as well.
Yeah, so we do, as I mentioned, we work with Virtuoso in the leisure space, and that is a membership by invitation. So I guess we had to prove ourselves to join, and it is a global entity, and that allows us to access some of those the exclusive offerings we've talked about, etc. We do provide newsletters which people can subscribe to, and that is an update on destinations, updates on new hotels, best bars, and these experiences we're talking about. It's not a hard sell. It doesn't give any costings or anything. It literally is destinational news, and then they can contact us when they're interested, and we can obviously explore whatever they're looking at. From a corporate perspective, again, it's just informing our clients of what is going on in the world, how we're reacting and processing their bookings and looking after them to make sure they're safe. Again, that is something we do from the get-go. It's part of our ethos.
Yeah, I was in a conversation yesterday, actually, looking at a property project in Sydney that had been completely designed around a wellness resort feel. And this is not so unusual now. We're seeing a lot of that happening in the way that larger projects and even smaller projects, they're really borrowing from the travel experience and the hospitality element of travel to help design or define the way people want to live every day. I feel like that's almost pushing then. It must in some sense be pushing the hospitality industry to go, what's next? So tell us, Nik, from your perspective, we've talked about high-end, premium. What's the next big thing in destination travel, do you think? Like, where are some places you've thrown out a few names, you've thrown out a few places, but like, what's on your top 5 for this year?
I think the top, personal aside, but for the industry, we're seeing a big uptake in in Africa and obviously safaris. There's a lot of small luxury boutique lodges which have opened, which give you a far more unique experience. Hotels are evolving. There's an amazing hotel I saw in November when it opened called the Chancery Rosewood Chancery Hotel in London. It's in the US Embassy. They've changed the entire way people stay at hotels. So you can check in at any time and check in on that day at any time. They provide the hotel transfers, airport transfers rather. So a lot of hotels are exploring the 24-hour stay, which I think in Los Angeles, there's the Waldorf Astoria again. You check in at 11 a.m., you check out at 11 a.m. It's not 3 till 10. So they're evolving how customers want to stay and use their hotels, given flights, etc. We're seeing a lot of small group people joining small group tours, especially in areas like I mentioned, Sri Lanka, which is
a ladies reading group in Scotland, maybe.
yeah, no, we trains. I mean, Belmont is another. The Orient Express. They're doing a lot of train journeys. There's a fantastic Epicureal train which goes up through Scotland, and you get to fish your salmon and drink the whiskey you've just seen being made. So again, it's about that personal and bespoke experience.
Well, Baz Luhrmann and Catherine Martin have apparently done this amazing train design. Have you heard of that one?
From
Don't know, from somewhere to
okay,
somewhere, but
somewhere
it's going to look
I'll be
it'll look
googling it in five
amazing. I
minutes.
keep thinking it's going to look like Moulin Rouge. So
Oh, that'd be
we,
fantastic.
yeah.
No, it is about that, and it's slowing down. I think when it comes to and you mentioned wellness. I mean, it's good to know Sydney is catching property is catching up with what I've always seen in Melbourne with the lifestyle in these big high rises. It's about slowing down and taking care of yourself and making you can do the rush around London, do this, do that, but on the way home, stop over in Singapore, go across to the one and only in the national park, which is just across the border in Malaysia, and just relax and chill, and then come back to Sydney. So there's a lot of that. We do a lot of VFR, as you probably know, back to the UK from my history of customers. But when they are now, rather than coming London, Sydney, they are stopping off, having that final little break, and then coming in and coming home.
What was that you said? A lot of BFR.
VFR, sorry, that is friends and family. So
Oh,
it's the expats living in Australia going home to see their friends and family in London. I do it all the time. You spend a week running around like a fly on acid, and then you finally leave, and you think, God, did I actually have a holiday? And then you start getting the emails, well, you didn't take the time to come and see me. And I was like, well, have you ever come out to Australia to see me? So why should I spend my time in the UK running around? So I do it. I set aside a few days to do that. And if I don't catch up with people, that's it. The rest is about my holiday.
there you go. Well, speaking of your holiday, what is with no constraints whatsoever? What is the trip that you would personally take with 3 weeks, no constraints?
So it's funny enough, I was talking to Barbara yesterday. I am actually, for the first time in many, many years, having a 3 week holiday from the 10th of July, not attached to any work or business conferences, which is what we normally do with that mix. So the without the fantasy list, what we've got is I have flying to London. I have a few days with family. We've booked restaurants and hotels and things. We'll catch up. People can come and visit me. That's great, catching with old friends and family I haven't seen forever. Then we're flying down to Nice to join a yacht experience with Penant. And that is sailing from south of Nice through Corsica, Sardinia, which is my favorite place in Europe, down to the coast of Sicily, then back up through Capri, Positano, the Amalfi Coast, up to Portofino, and then back to Nice. And then I have a few days in Milan because I'm a fashionista to do the shopping experience and the cultural experience in Milan. And that is 3 weeks. The cruise is not something I'd normally do, but it's a small vessel. It's new, but they have Smithsonian advisors on board. So when we do go to the ports of call, it's not dumping you in the local square and here's a cafe, here's the handbag store. We're going out to the museums, which are a way we can get those experiences, private experiences, with the Smithsonian guides, and I'm really looking forward to that, especially in areas. We're going to Agrigento in Sicily, somewhere I didn't get a chance to visit when I was in Italy before COVID, and then we're going to the boat is the yacht. The boat is quite small, so we're able to moor just outside Venice, and then we have guided tours, private guided tours through non-touristy Venice, if that makes sense. I need to do more research on where we're going, but that's what I'm learning and relaxing at the same time. I think it's going to be fantastic. So
Brilliant.
yeah, I'll let you know how it goes in
We're going to be
August.
very, very, very interested to hear. Now, as we come to wrap up, what should the audience really know about Anywhere Travel that's not on your website?
The website, use it for inspiration. We've got amazing journeys, etc., within their experiences, whether you want to experience adventure, cruise, sailing, destination, new countries, new experiences. But at the end of the day, that will lead you to my team. And the Alchemy team, has we've talked about, are hugely knowledgeable. I mean, you may call up inquiring about a holiday here and everywhere, and then by the end of it, you're going to somewhere completely different. Use their knowledge, use their inspiration, use their guidance. And then a prime example of that is a client of mine called up and admitted immediately they'd use Claude to create their Italian holiday. But within 10 minutes, Steve had mentioned, well, that hotel's closed to renovations. That restaurant didn't make it out of COVID, it's sadly closed. And within 2 minutes, the credit card was handed over, and she had an amazing experiences created by him with his knowledge. So use the website as inspiration. It is there for inspiration, but the team are gold. They're the best booking engines. They are the best travelers. So they have all the knowledge at their fingertips.
So, Nik, thank you. This has been such a useful conversation, and I expect that a few of our listeners are going to be reconsidering how they're planning their next trip after this. So for anyone who wants to get in touch with Nik and the team at Anywhere Travel, go to anywheretravel.com.au, and we'll also have the details in the show notes. Nik, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Holly. It's been fantastic. My first podcast. Thank you.
There you go. Well, we're very pleased to be doing this with you. And to anyone listening or watching, we'll be back with another interview very soon. Thanks for listening and watching.